Like, damn Skippy I am, the idiotest of all the idiot sandwiches. And if someone were to walk in right now, they'd think I'm crazy. Before it's a Wednesday in August before the 15th. I could look in behind. I think it's the 10th. Yeah. What is up, guys? It is me, ChefMac1523, coming at you with a new podcast. We're calling this the MacCast with Chef Mac. Sorry, that was a big breath. Mainly because the reason we're calling it what it is because I like to just talk to myself in my room to a phone because it validates my actual talking to myself when I'm playing video games. And as you will learn, I can go on and on and on and on and on, and my friends will vouch that too. Turn the audio down just a hair. This is just going to be a podcast where I really talk about whatever I feel like talking about, whether it be anything to do with culinary news, anything to do with video game news, because those are things I'm interested in. I really just want to talk, I like to talk, again, as you will learn. I did a podcast before this, Bridging the Gap with Bill, Shy, Scooby, and Mac. It was a very fun podcast, and I enjoyed doing it. That is why, and I tried to start another one called the Incoherent Podcast. That podcast may be on the way. It literally just shows how much I like to sit down and talk about anything, really. Like, I'm very much a just talkative person. You wouldn't know that from meeting me in person, because I am a very just kind of but when I get to talking about stuff that I enjoy talking about, I will talk your ear off. But yeah, this is a completely non-scripted, just talking about whatever the hell I want to talk about, shooting the shit, as I like to say. But yeah, this very first episode, I'm just going to kind of explain what I'm all about. Who am I? Why am I a chef? I got a little notepad that I'm reading off of. It's probably going to be able to tell everything. But what did I want to do before I wanted to be a chef? Favorite things to cook, and what everything will be about. The whole podcast, everything. Just going to kind of explain. Sorry, this very first episode, I'm going to struggle to edit because you're going to be able to hear me breathe, because I can hear myself breathe in the headphones. But I'm going to try to breathe away from the mic. Try to maybe put it right here. I don't know. Uh-oh. A new version of Wavelength is available. That's what just popped up on my computer. Of course, as soon as I start recording. But we're going to forget about that. So let's get straight into it. I'm gonna do this out of order. What is this podcast going to be about? Again, it's just going to be about me kind of talking about whatever I want to talk about, whether it be I got a couple of ideas. If you've ever seen Chris D'Elia, congratulations. I've never actually seen it, but I see how he sits there with a mic just talking, sitting in front of his computer. I may record a couple of things on my computer, do little segments. I have one thing written down, chef quizzes, or BuzzFeed quizzes. I stuttered there, excuse me. But just things to do alongside talking about topics that I want to talk about. But I'm also going to have guests on. Scooby the Kid will probably be a recurring guest. I would like to get Bill Perry or Mr. BM onto the podcast. And both of them, and even Shy, I would love to get the Bridge the Gap cast together for one final podcast. That would be great, because we never really got to give that one a proper send-off. But I digress. Who am I? I am Hunter Martin, a.k.a. Chef Mac. I've been in the culinary industry for about 7 years now. I'm a culinary trained chef. I've been to culinary school. Did a lot, and I've done a lot of different things, and I haven't really worked a lot of different things, but I've wanted to be a lot of different things. When I was in seventh grade, I wanted to be a graphic designer. I wanted to make the Call of Duty Zombies video games like that. I'm a very artistic person. You can't really see in the background, but there's a lot of art. Maybe I'll put up a couple of pictures in the video if you're watching the video format. But I did a lot of different things. I wanted to be a lot of different things. I wanted to be a history teacher. That is the main thing until about 2 years ago. That's what I was going to school to do, was be a history teacher. What else did I want to do? Graphic design, be an artist, started making music videos, did a lot of different things I'm anxious a little bit, but did a lot of different things that I've, hobbies, I would say, in YouTube even, for a little while I wanted to be a famous YouTuber. I wanted to be the next Tom Syndicate, or the Mr. Beast before Mr. Beast came out, but I wanted to do gaming. something I've always wanted to do, something I've always been interested in. And still to this day, I'm going to be uploading gaming videos and doing a whole bunch of different things onto this YouTube channel alongside this, which is going to be coming out Wednesdays, the first and the third Wednesdays at least. But I would like to do every Wednesday, but don't hold me to that, the first and third Wednesday of every month. Except for this one. This one is coming out on Monday the 22nd. This is my comeback. No. This isn't my comeback video. I have it all written down. This one is coming out. No, the first Wednesday in September. I don't have that written down anywhere. But yeah, this one is probably going to come out the first Wednesday in September. And if it didn't, then you know that it didn't. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot of different things with this podcast. I'm going to have guests. I got a green screen set up that we're going to cut to and do other things in terms of like, I'm not going to do any like reaction things, but like if I want to do like I was talking about little chef's quizzes or BuzzFeed quizzes or, maybe I'll cook a couple of dishes and try them and talk about them. And I have one idea. It's a recipe thing where I'm going to be Googling top 10 recipes and seeing if I can guess the ingredients that are in that. But yeah, that's kind of it. This is going to be just me rambling about a whole bunch of different things. But back to who I am. I'm Hunter Martin, Chef Mac, as a lot of people call me. Well, no, they don't. I call myself that. But I'm a chef. Like I said, I've been in the culinary industry for about 7 years now, since January of 2015. I'm 22 years old, and I am a chef at a sorority house in my local area as of recording this. Well, almost. I start on the 22nd, the day that this potential video comes out. This video is either coming out on the 22nd or the my comeback video, which is what I wrote. It's a Hawaiian burger. Look forward to that. That's going to be a good one. I've already got a lot of the ingredients, and I'm going to record that here within the next couple of days. But it's just a burger. That's Hawaiian. A Hawaiian bun, some pineapple, some sweet chili sauce, lettuce, tomato. It's going to be good. Y'all are going to like it. But yeah, look forward to that video. I'm ready to record videos. Like I said, I like to just sit here and shoot the crap and talk and just do really whatever. But lived in North Carolina for a long time. That's, when I say home, that's North Carolina. You'll see me. I got a hat that says 252 East Carolina. Even the shirt that I'm wearing right now, I don't know if y'all can see it, but it's Emerald Isle, North Carolina. The Emerald Isle, obviously. But the Crystal Coast of North Carolina, grew up in that area. Always lived in a college town, but it was great. Enjoyed all of my school years. Wasn't the greatest kid. I was a little a-hole until about 6th grade. Moved to Oxford, Mississippi in 6th grade. Moved back to North Carolina. Moved back to Oxford, Mississippi in 10th grade. And I currently still reside there. I know that's a lot of information, but I'm not telling you where in Oxford, Mississippi or who I'm working for or anything about that. But yeah, living my best life. I'm going to kind of skim over my culinary story because I want to go into more depth about that in the next episode. Like I said, started working in the culinary industry when I was about 15. I say working, I was volunteering because I was in ROTC in high school. And in order to get promotions, you had to volunteer for at least 2 hours. So I would work a meal at a local camp, and that was 3 hours of volunteer work. Then got that job, started working there for real on payroll. Came into a little bit of, I was about to say came into a little bit of money, but no, I didn't. Worked at a Thai restaurant, worked at a chicken restaurant, worked at an old people's home where I met who I would call my mentor. He was my friend, and he was like, "Hey man, you should be a chef." And then that's when I joined culinary school. Go into a little bit more detail about that in the next episode because that is a big part of it. And then I'll also what is a day in the life of how I do things. I get up. When I get to work, I'll have a menu item, a day menu that I would like. This is what I do as soon as I get here. on any particular day, probably either a Tuesday, no, probably either a Monday or a Wednesday, because those days include an order. But yeah, I love what I do. Like I said, I've been doing it for about 7 years now. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh God, I got to get up. And then I walk into work and I'm like, God, I love what I do. Every minute of it, But before that, I got my associate's degree from a community college, and I got an associate's in education because I wanted to be a history teacher. That is, like I said earlier, that is for the majority of my life what I wanted to be. Starting in 5th grade, I wanted to be a history teacher because that was the only class in 5th grade that I got an A in. Everything else was subpar, D, C, and F in one class. But everything else was subpar. And then, history became especially that teacher. I wanted to be what that teacher was for me. She helped me out through a rough period in time there. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it, but that was a hard part of. I know I was only in 5th grade. I don't even know about 10, but it was a time of my life that I don't look back on in any negative way. I just didn't like what was happening in terms of the way, looking back on it. Back then I was having a blast, but now I look back and I'm like, man, I could have been a little bit better. 1st through 5th grade, I was just a terrible kid. I was mean and breaking school property and getting into fights on buses, and I was an overall bad kid. And then looking back, I was like, I'm glad that part of me has changed and went away to a certain extent. I'm still, as an executive chef, you got to be like, no, this is, bye, yeah, But the one good thing about the people that I work with is, we all get along. We have a very good rapport. We understand. Nobody is really above anybody else in terms of, who will do what. We all help wash dishes. We all help peel potatoes. I help do the order a lot because I'm still in culinary school. I graduated and got my diploma, but I'm currently still furthering my education in culinary arts. And I have to do an internship, which I'm doing at the place that I'm working. So I have to do a lot of stuff that a lot of other people wouldn't necessarily want to do, like doing the orders. And, I'm hopefully going to be helping with a lot of the not payroll, but the finances aspect of it, which is the whole reason that I got put at where I am. But like I said, everybody that I work with now is very chill. We all respect each other's opinion. And yeah, it's a very good place to work. But I have worked at a place where I've got to be like, no, this is how it needs to be done. You gotta know how to turn off that I'm not your friend at work. And to an extent, I can be a little bit bad at that. I've worked with 2 of my close friends to this day, still close friends, and they're like, you turn into a bit of an asshole when you become the boss. And I'm like, you gotta realize that when we're at work, I'm not your friend, I'm your boss. And that's that is a bad and a good way to look at it, because you gotta be able to see that guy's not your friend, he is your employee. But you also gotta be like, when we leave here, he is gonna be my friend, and he is gonna feel some type of way about what I said. I've never called anybody names because that's just uncalled for. Gordon Ramsay calling you out, uncalled for. You don't need to call people names. I've been called names all my life. That's just not fun. That's why you gotta, at some point, you'll learn to embrace it. Not that people should be calling anybody's names, but like, I want Gordon Ramsay to come in and call me an idiot sandwich and be like, damn Skippy, I am. The idiotest of all the idiot sandwiches. And, you just gotta, I lived in a household where me and my brother would, when I say shoot the shit, we would just, roast each other back and forth. And, I call her my employee, but we're really like co-captains of the ship. And I've worked with her before, that's kind of our whole relationship. She's like a sister to me. And it's just, we shoot the shit back and forth. She throws shit at me, I throw it right back. And, sometimes we can take it a little too far. And if you're watching this, I apologize. I know I take it too far sometimes. But if I ever hurt anybody's feelings, I always know, and I always go back and apologize. I want to kind of go into a little bit of detail about, what I like to cook, my style of cooking. I cook at everywhere that I've ever worked, except for the 2 restaurants that I've worked at, have been like a wholesale food, so instead of cooking one dish at a time, I'm cooking big pans of stuff. So very, very catering style. So, email down in the description if y'all want me to cater. I will. You pay me, I buy everything. We talk about what we want to do. Only if you live in my local area, though. But yeah, what was I talking about again? Oh, I guess my style of cooking and what I like to cook. And I'll go into a little bit more detail, but I come from a long line of chefs. I say long. But I like to cook pizzas, spaghetti. Italian dishes is, what I would say one of my specialties is Thai. I was almost the general manager at a Thai restaurant. I was also invited to go to Thailand by the owner of the Thai restaurant that I worked at, and rarely regret that I did not, because that would have been a dope experience. But Thai is a specialty, Italian is a specialty, and then, your typical American cuisine, burgers, chicken tenders, catfish, real southern cooking, some northern stuff. I'm going to make a pretty mean clam chowder. Pretty good soups, vichyssoise. Couldn't tell you where that falls in on my style, but I make some pretty mean soups. But a lot of my stuff is your very typical, like, southern cooking, like gumbo, jambalaya, hamburgers, steaks, chicken tenders, collard greens. Well, I don't really make collard greens because they're nasty. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, your fried okra, a lot of that good. Sorry about that, guys. Don't really know what all that was about. But like I was saying, your Brussels sprouts, your fried okra, your like I said, your typical southern cuisine that, what grandma cooked you, mac and cheese, all that good stuff. Favorite things to cook, though, definitely going to be pizza, burgers. Pizza, because it's just fun to cook. I love tossing dough. I love making dough. I love making my sauce. Well, I'm going to say this, my mom's sauce. Very, very good. Pizza, I love making the dough. I love tossing the dough. I love doing all that stuff. Actually, I'll throw up a picture of me making pizzas at work with my coworker Jan. That didn't turn out great because the dough stuck together, because it rose too much, because the freezer at that job sucks. Or the fridge sucks, and it got too warm. The dough proofed too much. It's supposed to not, the way that I have them set up, they're supposed to not touch, and then you just pick them up, flatten them out, toss the dough. But that ended up not happening. But yeah, overall, that's a pretty good. Oh, burgers. Why do I like to cook burgers? I love to cook me a good burger. Burger is one of the simplest things, and if you can't cook a good burger, you're not a good chef. Sorry, that's my opinion. But it's such a simple thing to cook, but it can be done in so many different ways. Like, on the video that's going to be, either before or after. I'm recording this way before this video is coming out. I haven't even recorded the Hawaiian burger video. This video is coming out closer to August. It's a Wednesday in August. It's a Wednesday in August before the 15th. I could look in behind. I think it's the 10th. Yeah. I like a burger because it's such a simple thing to do, and it can be done in so many different ways. For instance, my Hawaiian burger, which is either going to be coming out before or after this. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't recorded it. It's such a simple thing, and then you take the ingredients that are in that Hawaiian burger and you get rid of that, and you season. My classic burger is A1 sauce, a little bit of garlic, some Cavenders, and that's it. Compared to what my Hawaiian burger is, very similar ingredients, pineapple, Cavenders, and sweet chili. 3 ingredients in both, but 2 completely different flavors. And then you want to go even further back. You can do a stuffed burger, stuffed with mozzarella cheese and bacon. Ooh, that's a fire one too. But you can do burgers in so many different ways, and there's such a versatile food item that, when you master a burger, you can do that same burger 100 different ways, like my classic burger with the A1 sauce and my Hawaiian burger with the sweet chili, they're the same burger, essentially, different ingredients. I know they're going to have two different flavor palettes in terms of the way that you do this burger and the way that you do this burger, because I'm losing track of what I'm trying to say. But there is two different burgers done with the same amount of sauce. They're different sauces, the same seasoning. Both of them have Cavenders, and then the texture bit, the pineapples and garlic, because the garlic you're not going to taste. The garlic is just going to be purely textural. Same with the pineapple. You may taste a little bit of the pineapple in there, but it's really just for texture, And you do those same amount of each ingredient, and you have two different burgers. Even though you did each burger the same way, you just had different ingredients, And even if you want to go pre-frozen puck patties, I can make one of those taste like a normal burger, like a burger that hasn't ever been frozen, because you do it right, you're nailing a burger every time. It is, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest things to do correctly. There's a lot of other things. But if you can master a burger and eggs, if you can cook those, and an egg you can cook 100 different ways. I don't know all 100, but you can. But those two are so simple things that you could do, and if you can do them, and these so many different ways, that you're doing it correctly. But I want to talk a little bit about the YouTube channel that this is all going on, ChefMac1523. Used to be called Mackin' For You Zombies before I knew what that actually meant. And this, about 8 months ago, probably about 9 months ago now, I recorded a video that said I'm back but different, and then nothing ever happened. I kind of want to explain why nothing happened. Well, I recorded that December 12th of 2021. As I worked at a fraternity at the time. Christmas break came, and I had the same Christmas break that the school students do, and I went on vacation. I went and traveled. I went to go see my dad. I went to go see my my grandparents on my mom's side, and my uncle, and my mom's brothers and sisters, brother and sister, which is very nice to see. Then I went back to my dad's, hung out with my dad, and just went to go see my grandma and my dad's mom. Saw a couple of my uncles there. It was a very much needed, nice vacation that, I think I even said it in that video that, that was happening, and I wasn't going to rely. I was just like, coming back in January, almost February, and I'm going to be good. Well, what happened then was I drove. So from North Carolina to where I live now is about 12 hours away. Drove there. As soon as I got back into the city that I'm living in, I'm talking, I am maybe half a mile away from my house, get into a car accident. Not a bad one, just a little, enough. I had enough speed to, I'll put up a couple of pictures, to bend the body of the car, and it was rubbing against my tire. It would have been drivable if that one part hadn't been hitting the tire like it was, but it was indrivable on a brand new tire. I literally just bought that tire 2 days before I left North Carolina. But yeah, that happened. And then just a hellish process of they weren't going to cover me, and then they were going to cover me, and then they weren't going to cover me. Progressive, I'm calling you out. Mallory Morgan, you sucked. I asked her a question, and she was like, I'll call you back, And then, a couple of days passed, and I called her, and I said, what about this question that I asked you? And she said, oh, I totally forgot about you. She was very flabbergasted and didn't know what she was doing. Lovely woman, but she did not know what she was doing all that much. But yeah, then when it took about 3, almost 4 months to get the car into an actual shop for it to start being repaired, and then all that comes into play of after it got into the shop, it took about 2 months for it to be repaired. So for about five or 6 months, I'm without a car. My boss loaned me his truck. I had that for 2 weeks, and then I was riding with my mom for a couple of. She lives in the area that I live in, and she would take me to work for a little while. And then I had to borrow people's cars to go on break, and it was just hectic. And then the body shop that I took it to was also a dealership, and they finally gave me a loaner car, and I had that for about 3 weeks. And then I got my car, and then I started working my summer job, which is I could work lunch today, lunch and dinner tomorrow, breakfast and lunch one day, and then the very next week I could work dinner, breakfast and lunch and dinner. It could be a completely different schedule the next week. So it was just hectic over the summer. Went to my dad's wedding. That was very nice. Nice to see him finally happy, and I'm grateful for them two being married. That was a fun little time, a fun little vacation. Got to see my dad's side of the family, which was nice. And then I came back from my dad's wedding, and 2 days later, I moved to a whole new apartment, which is I'm in a completely different spot. And then finished out the camp schedule, which again was completely random every week. I didn't know what I was working, so I never had a time to just sit down and be like, all right, well, if I'm working lunch and dinner, I can record something after dinner on one of those days. But it would be like, oh, well, tomorrow you got to work breakfast, and I'd have to change up my whole schedule. And my sleep schedule was my circadian rhythm, I think just the sleep schedule was all out of whack. And I'd get home one day and I'd be really tired, and I'd get home one day and I'd be really energetic. And then I'd go play golf, or, I would just put my focus elsewhere. Whereas I would have loved to have put it towards YouTube and this, doing this, but I'm glad I didn't, because I actually, over the past couple of days, have been just sitting down like, okay, this is what I got, a whole little notebook of ideas of, YouTube videos and, the podcast. And I'm glad that I sat down and waited, and I got a new computer that's got a new editing software, which is hopefully going to be good. I got to learn it, so I won't be editing a lot of stuff on it quite yet. But there will be, if you see any lackluster edits, which I'll probably start editing the podcast on it. Probably not this episode, but the next one I'll be editing on the new editing software. So because I'm not going to do a lot of crazy stuff. But I want to learn how to use this new software. Although I do like Filmora X is what I had been using. I have Final Cut Pro now. But yeah, I'm glad I waited. But what was I about to say? Oh, but instead of putting my energy towards this, I put it towards playing golf or doing schoolwork, because, like I said, I'm still in school. Only for a couple more months though. But yeah, it was overall a very good experience of, a good hectic, well-needed 8 months of craziness. And then I just got back from my family vacation, which I read. Let me actually get the book for you. I read all three. So there's Steal Like an Artist, Show Your Work, and Keep Going. And then there's Steal Like Your Artist Journal. This right here, Steal Like an Artist Journal, which I read those 3 books. Well, I bought those 3 books and listened to them. But I wanted to have physical copies so I could go through and mark stuff. And they got delivered to my house while I was on family vacation. But I have this that it just kind of got my creative juices flowing. And, you can thank Austin Kleon for this. But yeah, I'm finally kind of getting back into the creative juices of everything, and very excited to continue recording and recording this and doing episodes of doing YouTube videos and streaming again. That's what I'm ready to start doing. Again, all the links to everything will be in the description, and then I got this. Hopefully, I'm gonna have this cool new little outro thing that's gonna be cool. We'll see if that's at the end. I'm gonna sit down and work on this after I finish recording this. Because I want to sit down and listen to some music and just do some stuff. But right now I'm just sitting here in quiet, talking to my phone. If someone were to walk in right now, they'd think I'm crazy. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where not only this podcast, but I love a podcast. Honestly, here's the thing. I travel a lot, and they're long journeys, 6 to 12 hours most of the time. And this is what I would be, if I have a person in the car with me, this is what I'm doing. I'm just talking. So I'm pretending like you're my person. You right there. Yeah. You're my extra person. And I'm just talking to you the way that I would normally talk. Now, granted, there would be other things to change the subject, and I'm trying to keep myself on track of what I want to talk about. Like I said, I have a little list right here, that I've pretty much hit the nail on the head on a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about, other than where the YouTube channel is going to go, which I'm about to get into. But yeah, this is literally what I do. I just sit here and I talk, and hopefully you guys are entertained, and hopefully I'm not speaking too fast, and hopefully coming soon, jokes, because this is a very serious episode. Just explaining what this is going to be about. But I am going to start jokes, and I want it to be funny, and I don't want it to be serious, and I want I want people to actually be like, that's pretty funny, man. You're actually a good joke teller. But I'm not trying to be like a comedian or anything. I just I want to interject some jokes in here and there, and that'll be a little bit easier once I have somebody to bounce stuff back to, and once I get into some, so right now, here's the episode list that I'm subject to change, obviously. Episode 1, this one, I got who I am, why am I a chef, what did I do before, favorite things to cook, which I also didn't want to go into a lot of detail about, and what will everything about, and a lot of this stuff I didn't go into too deep a detail about, because episode 2, my culinary story, why am I a chef, what actually happened, I'm going to a little bit more depth about that, going to a little bit of depth about what I do in a day, my favorite things to cook, and where I worked, how I work, influences that I had in my career and all that. And then episode 3, top 5 movies. Episode 5, top 5 musical albums, which those two are going to be fun. Episode 5, I have BuzzFeed quizzes and chef quizzes. More chef quizzes because this is a culinary. I am a culinary artiste. Don't ask why I did that. Chef's quizzes. Episode 6, I plan on having Scooby the Kid on, and then I don't have anything for episode 7. So any suggestions that you have, put in the comments or send an email to the email in the description. And for those in the audio, ChefMac1523@gmail.com. But yeah, that's kind of that's kind of how, at least that gives me 6 episodes of kind of at this point 2 a month, so 3 months to kind of think of another topic. Now, granted, this could only end up being 6 weeks. I don't know. I would really like to do an episode a week, because this is something that, one, I love editing. It's such a fun thing to do. It's a way to just sit down and we're gonna get a little therapized. When I'm bored, I eat. I'm fat. Plain and simple. I like to have stuff to do that is productive, that isn't gonna harm me in any kind of way, i.e. drugs and alcohol. Not that alcohol, and I'm not gonna get into that topic. Not that it's bad. I just don't want to be, 10 years down the line, homeless because I spent all my money on cocaine, or have liver problems, which I can still have because I'm a heavyset dude. But I want to put my boredom into something that I enjoy doing, which is why I want to do some cooking videos, because it's something I enjoy doing, and I don't like school, plain and simple. So I won't put my boredness into school. I will put it into either sitting down and watching YouTube videos or eating. And that's why I like to, if I just start doing something, I won't stop until I'm done. Which is why I want to actually do, get back into editing and get back into doing something like this, because it's just going to give me something to do, period. That's all I want to say about that. But, yeah, I'm very, very excited to start doing this again. I want to get into a little bit about what this channel is going to be, other than the podcast, the MacCast. The MacCast. We're calling it the MacCast. The MacCast, not MacCast. there's going to be, I plan on having 2 other videos, 2 videos a week, 3 videos on the podcast week. The 2 videos are going to come out Monday and Friday, I think are going to be maybe Monday and Thursday. No, Monday, Friday. So you'll have a video Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the weeks that there are a podcast, and then Monday, Friday on the weeks that there are not. So that's 3, 6, 4, 10. There's 10 videos a week. At least one video a month is going to be a cooking video, and at least one video of the month is going to be a good stream that I'm just going to re-upload. Because it's that cooking video, one, I love to do it in a stream. It's just an easy video to put out. I'm going to try and do kind of reaction videos. I don't want to go into too much detail, but I'm not a huge fan of people who just react to a whole video. But my plan is to like react to a cooking video, and then try the recipe myself without looking at the cooking video again. So like I will watch the video, take notes, and then try the recipe myself and see how well it turned out, and react to a couple of there's a couple of Brandon Ferris. If you've ever watched him, he does some blindfolded stuff, and my plan is to try and watch his video, decipher what each thing says, and then try it for myself. But not exact, and I'm not just going to be like, this is, we'll watch we'll watch some of the important parts. I'll be taking notes, and then we'll try the recipe myself. That's kind of the plan. I want to react to The Bear. That's at least episode 1. And explain some of these cooking, movies and shows. I don't want to, again, we're not going to be watching the entire thing because a lot of time and effort went into that. And I'm not trying to, ride off the boot heels of anybody else. I want to put in my own work. That's why I'm trying to write scripts, like I've said, if I'm reacting to The Bear, I want to point out like I'm talking maybe 5 minutes, point out a couple of things that like, this is very accurate. This isn't very accurate. And do things like that. But I don't actually want to, we're not going to sit here and I'm not going to watch the entire episode of The Bear. Again, good show on Hulu, very accurate, which again, why I want to react to it. It puts a lot of light onto the culinary industry. But that's kind of what I want to do, along with gaming videos that I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do in terms of those. There may be some cooking videos. There's a game called Overcooked. There's only so many cooking games on the Xbox, but I do want to play other games, Now the whole start of this channel was zombies, and I want to go back to it and, do a lot of this stuff and just, play games. I want to have certain game, like, your old school walkthroughs. I want to have certain games that are like, a one-off kind of culinary thing, or, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, segments of a culinary game, each, maybe some zombies here and there, but I don't want to, maybe a Minecraft, I love that game. But I don't want it to be, that the gaming isn't going to be my main focus. The gaming will be the main focus on the streams, which will be maybe 2 videos a month will be just, this is what I streamed, and, you should come watch, and, maybe one of those streams is the gaming, the gaming walkthrough or something else like that, something along those lines. But I'm very excited to see where that goes. But I'm very excited to just get back into all of this stuff, it's not going to be my life. My life is I am a chef. At the end of the day, that is what I am. That's where I make my money from. So that is going to be the priority. But this is going to be something that is going to be not hard to keep up with because I'm going to have a set schedule. I'm off on the weekends. I'm going to record stuff on the weekends, and the Bridging the Gap podcast. Again, no bad blood between us. I loved every bit of them, but we would sometimes wait till the last minute, which put a little bit of effort on, would have put a little bit of, struggle on me to be able to get it up. But again, I loved those. I loved doing that podcast. I just want to make sure that, don't get me wrong, there will be times where it's, oh crap, it's Tuesday, I got to record a podcast, and that will happen. But I just want to make sure that I don't want to burn myself out on YouTube like I have in the past, but I want to make sure that my focus stays on work and doing this as a side hobby. And I'm not expecting to grow, and I'm not expecting anybody to watch this, but people that I send it out to. But I hope people do watch it. Other than that, that's all I have to say about the YouTube channel. I don't know. I can't see how long we've been going. If I had to guess, probably 30 minutes in the ballpark of that. I can think of something else to talk about. Maybe, maybe scratch this. We're going to do my culinary story right now. I'm trying to keep these between 30 minutes and an hour. 45 minutes and an hour. Just because I know how disappointing a podcast can be when it's not. So we're going to do my culinary story. Where do I start? Of course, at the beginning of my culinary story. January 2015, I started volunteering at a camp. I was about to say the name of the camp, but I still work there, so I'm not going to say the name of the camp. I started volunteering there I was just dishwashing because I was in ROTC at the time, and I needed to have volunteer hours to be promoted, so I volunteered there. And come the time that I was 15. No, so January 2016, because I was 15 at the time. That's when I started volunteering there. Yeah, I was 15 at the time. And then the summertime came, and I got my first car because I turned 16 over the summer, and I got my license. Sorry, I had to really think about that real fast because it had been a minute. I got my license, and you needed a job, and you needed to be able to put gas in my car. So I started working at the camp that I was volunteering at. That's the beginning of that summer. So before I was 16, I'd started working, and then I worked the entire month of June, and then at that point, I'm still just a dishwasher. Then I left. Then I traveled. I missed the whole month of July, and during the summer or during the year at this camp, it's a summer camp. They do retreats a lot, and that's when I started cooking for real cooking. I was, granted it was stuff like spaghetti. I've cooked spaghetti before. I cooked a lot of stuff before, but I was actually cooking for big batches, and found out that I was, one, really good at it, and two, I enjoyed doing it. It was fun. It was neat. It wasn't something that I was like, even then at that point, I was kind of like, if I had to do this for the rest of my life, I probably could. So then 2017 came. I'm still working retreats. The summer of 2017 came. I cooked the entire summer. I helped wash dishes a couple of times, but wasn't in the dish pit all that much. 2018 came. I started working at a Thai restaurant. I don't work there anymore. It's Zap Thai. It was a fun place, and this is the place I said earlier in the podcast that she wanted to make me manager. The owner wanted to make me the manager. Wanted to take me to Thailand, and I wish I did, but she was just Miss Rosita. If you're watching, I love you, but you could have been. You were a little bit much sometimes. She would come over and hit my belly and call me big boy, which again, don't really mind, but it's not something I want to be hearing at work. But I learned a lot, and I still remember, and I have it in one of my recipe books somewhere, how to cook everything, because I had to write everything down. And to this day, I can go in there and she's like, "You want to come work for me?" Nah. Much as I love Miss Rosita, again, she was a great, great boss. She didn't really understand what she was saying a lot of the time when she was talking. When she would call people names, she'd always apologize, but I just didn't want to deal with it. Then I worked at Southern Coop, was told that I was going to be a manager, ended up not being, and they just shit on me there. I was 17. Still, I hadn't turned 18 yet. But they looked at me, and this happened for a lot of my culinary career. They looked at me like, this little kid doesn't know what he's doing. He ain't never done anything like that. But at this point, I'm a sous chef at Camp Lake Stevens. By the time that I'm working at this place, so I knew what I was doing. I knew how to do what I was doing. But they didn't believe me. So they only worked there for a few months because I'm not going to be treated like crap. And then I worked out the entirety of this. I'm working at camp as the sous chef. But I didn't work for a little while. At this point, so I lived on my own, and then all my roommates left, and I couldn't afford to live by myself. even at this point, I was working at the chicken restaurant. So I had to move back in with my mom, but I lived in what we always called the shop. It was a renovated shed to be a bedroom, an extra bedroom that the older kid could have because, so we could have privacy. We decided to go inside and eat and go to the bathroom, but it was just, you can go out here, play, listen to music a little bit louder, because you're not in the house, you're not bothering anybody, you're outside the house. And it was built specifically so that you could have some privacy, was living there. At this point, I'm going to a community college for teaching. But I'm not working. About I probably started in February. I started as a dishwasher for a very similar food service company to the one that I'm working out at now. And actually, it's the old food service company that is where I'm working now. So I was a dishwasher at the kitchen that I'm at work that I'm the executive chef in now, which is kind of cool. But I was working there. I was fine dishwashing. I just needed money. Again, I had to buy gas for myself. So I was just, I was still working at camp on the weekends whenever there was a retreat and just needed money. So I was happy doing that. And, I was in school at that point. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a history teacher, high school history teacher. I wanted to teach American history. Then I moved out of my parents' house and I'm still working at this place. I worked there throughout the summer. No, I didn't work there during the summer. I went back to the camp. And then after the summer, so started working as the dishwasher, started working at camp, finished camp, and then in November of that, so from February of probably 2019 to November of 2019, I'm living in the shop, working at camp, working as a dishwasher at the sorority. Then move out into a place with two other people, still working as the dishwasher. Christmas time rolls around, and then March 2020 rolls around, and then COVID hit, and everybody was laid off, and had to get unemployment, which sucked because I need something to do. I like to work. I said it earlier. I hate when I'm bored, and that was one of the times that I started streaming again. And actually, it's the time that I on this very channel I made my last video, and that kind of period of time that I was doing that. And then the other Chef Mac YouTube channel that I have, it is just Chef Mac, and there's Days Gone, there's a couple of videos, there's not a lot on there, but yeah, all that stuff happened, and during this quarantine, I say quarantine in the area that I'm living ended in like middle of April. During that whole time, in February of 2020, so right before all the COVID stuff happened, we recorded the first episode of Bridge the Gap. At that point, it was just bridging the gap with Bill and Scoob. Then COVID happened, and then not long after that, I was there recording that, and I was the editor of that still. But not long after that, I came in as a host. And then not long after that, Shy came in as a host. And we did that all the way until the end of that year. We did it for almost a year. I don't think it was quite a year, but we did it for almost a year. Then we did during that whole summertime, we shot music videos. Again, the link to all this is in the description for Scooby Kid, Mr. BM. We wanted to shoot a couple for Bill Perry. But we never did. Went on Brink TV. Again, hopefully all of these pictures are up on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, they're Brink TV on YouTube. Mr. BM and Chef Mac, and then and Scooby Kid, and then Brink TV, Scooby Kid, and these aired on live TV, which was very cool. And then actually in one of them, I'm wearing this shirt. I don't think I'm wearing this hat though. I might be, but I don't think I am. But yeah, in one of them, I'm wearing this shirt. Shot music videos. And then in about August, I think, I started working at a retirement home. My boss there, his name was Henry. That's all I'm going to go into detail about. he is the reason that I am a chef. I mean, at the end of the day, he is the reason. So I graduated my community college in May of 2020. Had my associates. I think it's actually an associates of arts, but it's an associates in education. That's what I was going to school for, was education. Graduated then, went to my summer break, and then school started again, and I was going to a 4-year university. I'll actually say the one because I'm not going there anymore. Ole Miss. About a month after I started, I dropped out, but just because I realized that school wasn't for me, at least the way that I was doing it at that point. I wasn't willing to. The actual reason I wasn't willing to go into debt for something that I didn't know that I was 100% wanted to do. So I went a couple of months without actually, at that point in time, I was just like, let me think, is this really what I want to do? Do I want to do something else? Do I want to teach? What do I want to do? So I started working full time at the retirement home. Got really good. Again, still, I was really good at cooking. And the boss there was like, you should be a chef. You should be a chef. But at that point, I was like, I'll just, wait a year, graduate a year after all my friends, and just, I'll go back next year. I need a year of not doing anything, which I was prepared to do. But one day he said it, and he was just like, you should really be a chef. And I was like, dang, maybe he's right. So I went home, and I was just like, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it right. Not necessarily that culinary school is right, because you don't have to go to culinary school to be a chef. But I started researching culinary schools, and I found the one that I'm going to now, Auguste Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. I'm doing the online program, but I started when COVID was happening, and then now I'm not doing any cooking. I'm just doing basic schoolwork, which I hate. But it's just like, read this chapter, do a quiz, talk about it. Which I'm not a huge fan of that type of school, but I wanted to do it. And, not only that, but it would make my family happy. Like, hey, you know what you're doing. You went and got a diploma. Again, not that a diploma needs anything, but, I needed to do that for my family and for me. It also gave me something to strive for, because if I would have just started working as a chef, man, I definitely wouldn't be in the position that I am today, if I hadn't got my degree. That definitely helped a lot. Because I didn't have enough experience as a chef. Again, I was a sous chef at Camp Lake Stevens, but I didn't have enough experience to validate to be an executive chef at a fraternity. But what helped me was the fact that I was in culinary school and learning the stuff. So that helped a lot. But yeah, it was a very, very nice experience, and I enjoyed all of that. And now I am where I am today. I quit the retirement home and opened up a restaurant. I assisted open up a restaurant. I made the menu, but the menu has been downsized now a lot because the restaurant, so the restaurant's at a golf course, and it just turned out to not be super duper profitable to be doing it the way that we were doing it. So now it's scaled back, and certain things aren't all the way done the way that I had done them. We kind of did it so they were a little bit cheaper. Again, not a bad thing. Everything tastes good there, and I recommend you going. The Grill at the Ole Miss Golf Course, I helped open. Then started working at a fraternity. Worked there for a year. And when I recorded the last video, though, I'm back but different. I was working at the fraternity. And then this year, starting in the 22nd, I'll be working at the sorority. And that, that takes us all the way up to today. August 10th is today. And I started the sorority on the 22nd. And actually, I started the 15th, 14th, with Rush for the sorority that I'm working at. So I'm very excited. It's definitely going to be a little bit different than a fraternity in terms of, allergies. And, we had one allergy at the fraternity. I think we have 15 at the sorority. Not a big deal, but it's just, I'm definitely going to have to improve my presentation, and, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to cook, which I want. I want that. And I love the crew that I'm working with. At the fraternity, it was just me. Now I'm working with the crew. It's going to be great. I'm very excited as to where my culinary story takes me at the end of the day. And then to end out my culinary story, I can foresee myself opening a restaurant in I'm not 100% sure where, but I'll keep you all updated so that y'all can come. But by then I want to step back from cooking, and the recipe. I want the recipes, some of the recipes, to be mine. But I want to take a step back from cooking and just be, retired, so to speak. That I want that to kind of be my retirement income, along with, my retirement fund that I'm making for myself now. But yeah, that's kind of my culinary story, what this podcast is going to be about, who am I, who I am, I guess I should say. I guess I can go, I've already talked about my favorite things to cook, and, very excited to see where this podcast goes, and, everything that it's going to be about. And I hope everybody enjoys this, and I hope everybody is enjoying, the content that will be coming out, and I think that the Hawaiian burger is going to come out first. So I think that's going to come out on the 22nd, and this is going to come out the Wednesday after the 22nd, just to get us started. But I hope everybody enjoys. I hope everybody enjoyed that video, and yeah, I'm very excited to see where all of this goes, and how all of this goes, and what's going to happen. And yeah, it's going to be a good time, and everybody's going to have fun, especially me. That's the whole point. I always say that there's one thing that, I'm not going to sacrifice anything for, and that's my happiness. And I say that to an extent. I know that there's things that I will sacrifice my happiness for. My future wife and my future kids, I obviously will do a little bit for, but, for the time being, it's just me. But I'm going to leave this off with a couple of things. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that like button, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time this is uploaded, along with all the other videos. Make sure you click all the links in the descriptions. That's going to be the links to my social medias, my Twitter, my Snapchat, my Instagram. I don't really do Snapchat all that much anymore, though. My Instagram, my Facebook. I think that's all. I think that is all of them. Obviously, the YouTube is you're on the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Have fun. I'm going to leave this with one thing, and I'm going to explain the quote, and you should go click in the description. There's first thing in the description, there is a recipe on how to make the Hawaiian burger. So first things first, I want to explain something. There will be one recipe a month, maybe two, that I cook on the channel, and that will be in a Google Doc that is in the description. And then at the end of every month, or that will be in the description, a constant Google Doc of things that are updated. Like for now, we're just going to have my Hawaiian burger, but, by the, in a year, we'll have, 12 to 24 different things, that are, relatively cheap. And, I will put, in there how much it costs to make this. And, we're there'll be some that are super cheap. There'll be some that are a little bit more expensive. But that's kind of the premise behind that Google Doc that is in the description of the Hawaiian burger. It's going to be constantly added to a recipe that, everybody can come and follow and try it yourself, along with a video. But the video's came out on Monday. And the second thing in the description is going to be an essay that I wrote for my philosophy class, my final year, or my final semester before I graduated my community college. It's called The Microwave That Is Life. Go give it a read. And in there, I say one of my favorite quotes, and I have it. I don't know if you can see it. Well, we're going to move the camera so you can see it. I have it right there, that Doctor Who looking thing right there. It is, don't be a lasagna. Now, in the show, it literally means don't be a lasagna. But it also has a connotation in the show of don't hold your breath or you're going to explode. Well, I will explain it and maybe even put the clip up.
Ever microwave the lasagna without pricking the foam on top?
It explodes.
Don't be lasagna.
But I will explain it real fast. What I mean. So the doctor says to Clara, have you ever microwaved lasagna without poking the film on top? She's like, yeah, it explodes. And he's like, don't be lasagna. He says it a whole lot better than me. So again, the clip should have been put up already. But I take that, and if you read the essay, I take that into, you got to enjoy the little things. So so you cannot be a lasagna. So you got to poke the little holes, don't explode. So you're going to hear me say that at the end of almost every video, but it also has a perfect connotation because I'm a chef. I know that sounds very egotistical, but I'm not. So make sure you poke the film so you enjoy the little things so that you don't build up on yourself and explode. So don't be lasagna. Have a good one, guys. Peace out.